Hi, I'm Jo Ruddock, and I'm here with Berend, Director of Sales EMEA at Cobalt Digital. Good to see you again, Berend. Um, shall we start with a quick overview of Cobalt and what you offer? Just remind us.
Yes, thank you, Joe. Yeah, this is the third in a series of interviews. But just to give a small reminder on who Cobalt is, where we are from, what we do. Cobalt is a North American-based manufacturer, manufacturing what we call in broadcast glue signal processing equipment. So think about audio embedding, de-embedding, format conversions, logo insertion, color correction, all that kind of things that are necessary between where the event is produced and where it is played out. So we manufacture all our equipment in the US. We do our regression testing ourselves, 24-hour regression testing, because we deliver all our equipment with 5 years warranty. We are well known in the industry for our outstanding support, and we are a very responsive organization, also when it comes to requirements of customers, also even if we don't have them in products yet. We are a relatively small organization. We have only 6 salespeople around the globe, so we work a lot with partners. Of these 6, even 3 are based in the US. We do have some direct customers, trust me, but most of our business is through partners all across the world. I'm dealing with all the partners in Europe, Middle East, and Africa, so that's my responsibility. Good.
Brilliant. And Cobalt has been actively promoting its IPMX products recently. Why is that, and what is IPMX?
So let's first start with what IPMX is. IPMX literally stands for IP Media Experience, which we spell, of course, with an X, the word experience. But that's American or whoever invented that. It is, in short, uncompressed video over IP without PTP. So it's found the founding members behind it are AIMS, the same organization that was responsible for all the specifications and requirements for 2110. AMBA, who actually literally wrote the specs for 2110, and the Video Services Forum, who have a big impact on that too. As I said, it's based on 2110 standards, but without PTP. And it's really designed for live production and professional audio video. So that is why did Cobalt dive into it? It is designed for the audio video market, a market we'd like to explore ourselves. But there is also a very big chunk of broadcasters. We are heading for Spain for the Video Digital Innovation Forum.
Mm-hmm.
And you can count on 0 hands how many 2110 implementations there are in Spain. Maybe there is 1, so maybe you can raise 1 hand and raise your pinky, but that's about it. Same in Portugal, same in a lot of Eastern European countries, same in Turkey, same in a lot of African countries. The main challenge for these people is 2110 is of course, it is IP. They don't have a lot of people that are IP vague that understand that. So that is one limitation, but that is something you can overcome. But 2110 requires very high-end professional switches for the spine leaf infrastructure, etc., from Arista or from Mellanox. Mellanox being a little bit more affordable than Arista, but having a different reputation. So that's a give and take. So that is one. The infrastructure in itself is expensive. With IPMX, you can work with consumer-grade switches. The second thing is, with 2110, you need what they call precision time protocol. So you need to implement equipment from Leader, from Psycho, from Meinberg, very grandmasters and slaves all across your network. That equipment is easily 30% of your total investment in your 2110, together with the switches. You don't have any other equipment yet. You just have your switches and you have your PTP, grandmasters and slaves. It's a big chunk of money. So, and for these broadcasters in the countries that I mentioned, money matters. They are not as rich as the British commercial broadcasters, or as well funded as the BBC, or as well funded as some of the German broadcasters. So that is a big stop for them. Then there is the third thing, and even though 2110 is now more than 10 years around, I think 14 years or so, and it is a robust and stable technology and very useful for the people that have implemented it. Everybody that builds a new broadcast center or a new truck or a new studio complex or anything will tell you PTP is always the bottleneck. We never have enough hours scheduled in our project management for PTP. We always have an overshoot on hours for that part of the project. Sometimes we can make it up at something else, but this is every new project. You think we are doing this now for a long time, but this is always the nightmare. We get it sorted, but it's always the nightmare. So these broadcasters having, because they are usually smaller and less well funded, not the same amount of staff or the amount of money to invest in large systems integrators that can help them with it. They choke about the idea of 2110. There is a lot of things that are really good at 2110, like, yes, your cabling. SDI 100, if with some distribution amplifiers in between 300 meters, whatever, you need to go to fiber, you need to go back to SDI as soon as you build a studio complex. With IP, that is all relatively simplified. So there is a lot to say for 2110, but the things that make it complex are PTP and the expensive switches. IPMX is 2110 without PTP. It supports asynchronous data. So it's not just these high-end audio-video customers that do all these nice recordings of a music festival or a sports festival where there is not the big broadcasters having all the cameras installed already. So like hockey or like cricket or these other things that the English like, rugby maybe. But it's not the same amount as money as with the FIFA World Cup.
Understood. Yeah.
So that is these organizations that take care of all these broadcasts and recordings, etc. That and also on site distribute all the content on stage to the different screens that you see around. The man on stage, this is what you see, and then you look to your screen, and he's like 6 meters high, a 6 meters high Bono, and in reality, he's 1.50 meters. So for these people, this is really like a good outcome. Because what I said, this SDI, you always have trouble with your cable lengths. You always have to do some fiber in between, etc. Because a music stage, 300 meters is not a long distance. It's done very quickly. So that market, yes, that it is designed for. But what we believe as well is that a lot of broadcasters that actually had this hiccup, like, I don't know how to do PTP. And if I hire a consultant, he's earning in a month what I pay my engineers in a year, or that's at least what it's going to cost me. So for them, this world of IP is now opening up as well as IPMX. And that is for Cobalt a big reason to invest, because traditionally we are very strong in broadcast. We do want to get involved in this high-end AV market. And we are slowly but gradually getting involved in that. But we have a lot of traditional broadcasters that actually need to make that step because, as I said, the SDI world is very slowly phasing out. It's going to take another 15 years probably before it's gone, but we know that we need to be in IP. These broadcasters know they need to be in IP, and they can't really afford 2110, but IPMX is for them. And that's just how things evolve, as we know. And because there is no picture compromise quality, no compromise to the picture quality, you will see that even the large broadcasters think, hey, that's going to save me a bunch of money. Smaller implementations, I don't go 2110. Why would I fund Arista if I can have some other switches? So
And so what products specifically are you highlighting with IPMX?
So we started our first IPMX compliant product with what we call the Sapphire BBG products. This is basically 2110 or 2110 JPEG access, and nowadays also IPMX to HDMI. So how do I get my 2110 or my IPMX on my monitor? Traditionally, I first had to convert it to SDI and then from SDI to HDMI. One of our customers asked for us to change that, make that more easy. So 2 years ago, we had the first box for that. And then we looked at it and we said, hey, when we learned about the IPMX standards, this is 90% compliant. So we went to the IPMX compliance testing in Munich. We learned what we still had to change and to improve. And from there, we built a whole Sapphire range of products, which is a single channel or a dual channel converter or a 4-channel converter, where the 4-channel converter also is nicely smart. It has also 4 bidirectional SDI inputs and outputs. Well, input outputs. It has 4 HDMI outputs, and it has 2 SFP cases for 25 gig SFP, so you can do 4 channels of 3G or 1 channel of 12G and 3 channels of 3G on the same box. I'm not going to name customers because, but one customer in London is really happy with that now. I need to ask him first if I can name him. So, but he did at MPTS last week a very good product talk, holding my box in hand and saying how we had implemented it and being absolutely happy about it. So
Brilliant.
that was our first line, and then we have what we call Indigo, which is basically SDI to 2110 by origin, but now also SDI to IPMX, and that is we have a bidirectional OpenGear gateway. As I mentioned before, we are the co-founding partner of OpenGear. Last chunk of our portfolio is OpenGear based, and we have also 2110 products in OpenGear format. So the Indigo is an Indigo OpenGear card 2110 bidirectional is a 4-pass card for 3G or a single card for 12G. SDI to 2110 or SDI to IPMX or the other way around. Then we have also a encoder that we originally developed for compression for transport over internet from video content. The old words are MPEG-2 and MPEG-4. The new word is HEVC, but that's also around the corner already for 6 years or 7 years. So stable technology. Not many though can encode the 2110 or their IPMX into HEVC, and we have built that possibility now, so that with one encoder card in an OpenGear frame or in our 2-slot OpenGear frame, you can have your 2110 easily put into your streaming mode or into your contribution mode. Then we have what we call the Topaz products nowadays. These are signal processing cards, a 9904 UDX4K and a 9905 4-path, which is 4-path of 3G. And these cards do almost anything that you can dream of. BBC LUT conversions, HDR to SDR or the other way around. Logo insertion, color correction, audio embedding, de-embedding, Dante in-out, MADI in-out. Frame sync, everything. When we bolt on a daughter card to that will also be 2110 or IPMX in, and all the processing, and then your option SDI out or 2110 and IPMX out again. So these are the 4 product lines that we already have a lot of 2110 and IPMX capabilities. And then our Ultra Blue IP Multiview, we have now enabled 2110 inputs, and that will also support very quickly IPMX. So a relatively wide range of products already that are designed for that market, and that are all of them our traditional background, signal processing and compression, where we started already 27 years ago and where we are very strong at. But fitting this new jacket of IPMX.
Absolutely. And any other new developments that you're able to share with us?
One that is relatively new, we have what we call the ARIA audio monitor. I might have referred to it last time already, but it's an audio monitor for 12G. It is 8 channels, single IU version, about 9 centimeters deep. I have to look up the specs if it's 9 or 11 or 8.5, but because we do everything in inches, so and it supports analog audio, AES, AVU audio, embedded audio in the 12Gs. So it has two 12G BNC connectors. It has AES in and out. It has also monitoring outputs. It has redundant power supply because it's designed for professional video. And it has two SFP cases for SDI over fiber, or 2110 or IPMX in, and so that you can have your content also directly from your 2110 and do your audio monitoring. It has two outputs to two separate monitors. It has also a little thumbnail where you can also see which video you're actually listening to, which channel you're listening to. So it is new. The first two are installed in Germany in 2 trucks. These trucks don't stay in Germany though, but they are installed there, and we are having a large production running now. And from August onwards, we can ship these everywhere. They are competitively priced compared to some others, and at current, they are the only other 12G audio monitor on the market. So that is nice. One product that we haven't done enough promotion for, but that we already shipped for almost a year now, is what we call our ARIA Open Gear AUD 2 or 4 channel Dante card. And that is an audio shuffler, but also a frame sync for 4 parts of 12G. So the frame sync for 4 parts of 12G, actually, sometimes people only need frame sync. They don't need all the other features that we can do with our other cards that also can do frame sync. This is an economical solution just to do frame sync. But what this card really is designed for, and just because you cannot get away from frame sync, you always have to do frame sync. It's there. It has 64 channels of MADI, 64 channels of Dante, 16 channels of AES in and out, and you can per 12G path or 3G, whatever you want to push through that path, embed and also take 8 audios from your embedded and de-embedded stream and de-embed them, and you can shuffle them. So you de-embed your audio and you go Dante out, or you come Dante in and you're embedded in the stream. You can also take an audio out of channel 1 and, if you like, put it in channel 4 back again as an embedded stream. With the Dante, if they are all sitting in the same frame, you can interconnect the cards. You can even take a Dante from one card to another card. So you build more or less an audio router in OpenGear format. Within the same board, it's 64 with 64 MADI or 64 with 64 Dante. And applications are a multitude, but I do see a lot of people that actually use it to get their intercom to their local sites, like racing, horse racing or dog racing, or things like that. All distributed from one center in Sweden. No, in Norway, we have one of these implementations. And everything is managed from Oslo, but all these racehorse venues are all across the country, and they manage just everything from Oslo. So they need their intercom to be distributed from Oslo to the local sites and back again. And they use MADI for it, and they use our card for it. So a lot of other applications are possible there as well. So yeah, and I did mention our Ultra Blue IP multiviewer already. This is really getting a lot of traction. We still are making the product mature. It's still relatively early. But now we have an added monitoring functionalities, and we have 2110 inputs to it, and yeah, on the roadmap is 2110 outputs, and it's the difference between other IP multi-viewer software based is that ours is GPU based, which means maybe not cheaper servers, but less servers, which is less rack space, and especially like these people that are in the event industry and need to ship their kit all around the globe to do the next event. Less racks is better. It's also less electricity, so it's also the green card, of course, but it's in essence for these customers, it's like we don't need to ship 3 racks of just servers for our IP multi-viewer. We can do with half a rack because you are GPU based, and that is a big takeaway for that product.